Welcome back to one of the Bears Travel Plays YouTube channel. Today is Wednesday, October 9th, and we've got some more baseball to talk about on Wednesday. As you can see, everything's failing. Everything in front of me is failing right now. Wi-Fi sucks again. I'm lagging on my screen when I'm talking to you guys, so I'm just going to hide the face again. At least the recording works. At least the audio works for now. But yeah, we got to figure this out. Wi-Fi, it's either my Wi-Fi or the streaming platform I use is just having a bad week. But hopefully it doesn't continue. We are going to be looking at the Phillies and the Mets for the game today, but we've got the Padres team total over 4.5 runs is what I took it at. Could have taken a 3.5 for minus 155, but I took a 4.5 at plus 107. They are currently just started Mookie Betts solo shot in the top of the first, so that one just started. We had Trey Turner over 1.5 bases in the first game. Sing won a second bat, nothing after that, so that was a loss. And then Aaron Nola under 1.5 runs, gave up two solo shots, then left the bases loaded, and the Mets scored, I believe it was two more runs on him. So 4 runs given up by the Phillies in that, or by Aaron Nola in that game. Phillies lose the game outright, which is incredible because now they are in a do-or-die situation, not at the bank. So not what the Phillies fans wanted, not what the Phillies organization wanted. But we have started the day off 0-2 on the player props, looking for the Padres to get us a win on the board. Here's the updated leaderboard, 10-9 since the postseason. Now it's 10-11 since the postseason because I haven't updated that leaderboard, but we will get it updated after this game. Let's take a look at the game for Wednesday. We're going to be looking at the Phillies going up against the Mets. All of these series so far in the second round, they've been really good. All these series have been tied going into Tuesday night. Some of these series now not tied, including this Mets and Phillies game. The Mets were able to take the game 7-2 with Aaron Nola on the bump. That is horrible, horrible news for the Phillies because now this is a must-win game for the Phillies in enemy territory. And the bank, as everybody knows, is one of the best places to play in postseason baseball. So the Phillies, they've got to win this game in order to get back to the bank. I'm not taking the Phillies. I'm taking the Mets here to close them out. The Mets have all the advantage in the world in this game. It's going to be Ranger Suarez for the Phillies on the mound. He's been brutal over the last several weeks for this team. And on the mound for the Mets, it's going to be Jose Quintana. And he's turned his season around just a little bit coming into the postseason. But I'm going to start with the numbers for Ranger Suarez because this was a guy who had a 2.42 ERA at the start of July. And ever since then, it's just been straight downhill. He's now given up 3+ runs in 7 of the last 10 games that he's been in, and going up against the Washington Nationals. The Washington Nationals, in the last game of the regular season, they tried to give him a game to build his confidence up going into the postseason. It did the exact opposite. 2 innings of work, 7 hits, 6 runs, a home run. That brought his ERA on the season to 3.46 over the last 10 regular season games. He had given up 5+ hits in 7 of those 10 games, and his ERA raised a full point to close the year out. He cannot be confident coming into this game, and the Mets have been a very strange team. They could put up 6 runs in 1 inning if they have to. I think the Mets will be able to get to Ranger Suarez, and it might not take a whole lot because Jose Quintana, he's been really good for the Mets over the last couple months. This has been actually their best player on the mound since the back end of August. He's only given up a total of 3 runs over the last 7 starts, and he's been going up against some pretty good teams as well. He's faced off against the Phillies not that long ago. Back on the 13th of September, he went 7 innings, giving up just 3 hits and no runs allowed. At the end of the season, he had a good game going up against the Brewers, and then the postseason going up against the Brewers, he went another 6 innings, giving up 4 hits, and again, he gave up no runs in that game. He had a 4.57 ERA on the 20th of August, and going into the postseason, he finished up the year with a 3.75 ERA. He is trending in the right direction. I think he's a really good arm to have on the mound in this game for the Mets. It's a closeout game for the Mets at home. You almost have to say it's a must-win game for the Mets. If you're a Mets fan, that's probably what you're thinking, because if you lose this one, you got to go back to the bank. Chances are you're not going to win that game. So take Jose Quintana here. Take the Mets to close out the Phillies. Tragedy for the Phillies fans. I really like the Phillies, too. I was hoping they'd win, but this Mets team, they might be a team of destiny. Give me the Mets here on the money line as the play. For the player props tonight, we're going to start with the batting prop. We're going to take Francisco Lindor of the Mets to go over 1.5 bases. I talked to you about the struggles of Ranger Suarez, and I'm going to tell you again, because he closed out the season horribly, and his confidence is shaken. I mean, he has not looked good on the mound over the last couple months. Again, he's given up 5+ hits in 7 of the last 10 games, giving up 3+ runs in 7 of the last 10 games as well. He's going to have to go up against one of the hottest hitting teams in baseball, and maybe a team of destiny, like I just said, because this Mets team, they beat the Brewers historically. When you beat the Brewers in the first round of the postseason, good things seem to happen for those teams. I like the matchup here, though, from Francisco Lindor. We're going to see sinker the majority of the time in this game, and that's one of his better pitches to hit this season. 304 batting average on the year. We're also going to see the curveball and the fastball nearly 20% of the time for both of those pitchers. And against the curveball this year, Lindor has a 286 batting average against the fastball. He has a 256 batting average. And all the pitchers that we're going to see in this game from Ranger Suarez, Francisco Lindor is hitting them at least 226 in the year. His worst pitch to hit on the year, it's actually the cutter. We're going to see that hardly at all in this game because Ranger Suarez only throws that about 12% of the time. So I think eventually we will see a sinker that Francisco Lindor likes, and he's going to rip it somewhere hard. I'm going to take him over 1.5 bases as the play there. Deep shot to Eric. He caught it. He caught it. I'm on the MLB side, I know, but that was a monster play for NCAA football. Oh, he got away with the shove. He got away with the shove, ladies and gentlemen. The good receivers get away with shoves. The good receivers get away with shoves. Ask any of them. Me included. All right. Francisco Lindor, over 1.5 bases as the play there. Sorry about that. I am going to leave that in because, I don't know, it just feels right. Let's take a look at the pitching prop. We're going to go to the Yankees and the Royals game. Clark Schmidt, under 2.5 runs going up against the Royals. Clark Schmidt this season for the Yankees, he's been good whenever he's been on the mound. His problem this season has been health. He's only been in 16 games this season for the Yankees, pitching 85 innings, but he didn't start the season until nearly halfway through. Actually, a little bit over half the year was over. He did struggle a little bit in the last game of the season going up against the Pirates and the Orioles, but before that, he had gone 7 consecutive games, giving up 2 runs or less. He did finish off the season with a pretty good ERA, 2.85 with a 1.18 whip. And while the Royals are a very frisky team, I'm not entirely sure how good they are. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you're good or bad when it comes to postseason. Teams just have magic. That is definitely where the Royals category fits in. But the Royals, they struggled toward the back end of the regular season. They struggled toward the back 2 weeks of the regular season, especially. They lost 7 of the last 10 games coming into the postseason. They took care of the Orioles because the Orioles couldn't hit the ball. Kansas City, they didn't score a lot of runs in that series. The O's just put up 1 total run in the 2 games. They were able to tie the series on Monday night, getting a huge win in New York. But again, they were only able to score 4 runs. That was going up against Carlos Rendon, which is a really good pitching matchup for the Royals in that game. This team has been inconsistent with the bats this year, especially in the middle of that lineup. And Bobby Witt Jr., he's not been good in the postseason so far. I don't want to dog him too much because he's young. I mean, he's what is his 3rd year in the MLB? Super young guy, first postseason experience. It's always tough for the young guys in the postseason, but he's got to be better. He's not hitting well right now. He's swinging at stuff in the dirt that makes him look foolish. This guy, though, he's what the Royals look at for production and when it comes to scoring runs. And if he's not on, the Royals typically don't have a very good night. So I think he's going to continue to struggle in this game. The rest of the inconsistencies in that Royals lineup is going to show through here against Clark Schmidt. They're not a very good team going up against a sweeper. And I think Clark can have these guys rocking in the plate. I think he's going to have a lot of strikeouts. I think he's going to stay under the 2.5 runs here as the play. Let's take a look at the recap graphic. We're going to be taking the Mets on the money line to close it out. Phillies messed up. Sorry, Phillies fans. Got to take Mets here with Jose Quinton on the mound. Lindor over 1.5 bases, and then Clark Schmidt under 2.5 runs as the 2-player props. Guys, got to do it for the MLB picks and props for Wednesday, October 9th slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.